Hey, my name is PolishLynx and let's continue this irae. So yeah, after what happened before, we are back to the club and pretty much dropped dead. Let's run. From exhaustion, the 100 and I passed through the entrance of the club. As much as it sickened me to admit, most of my wounds seemed to have already healed, and near overwhelming feeling of exhaustion remained for. That battle inside Wilkins' perpetual night was one of the toughest I had experienced so far. Not to mention the psychological trauma of failing to see at school assembled my day-to-day life, demolished like that. To make matters worse, Mary seemed to have grown unresponsive. Or rather, I couldn't feel her presence at all, which I doubted was a good sign. The phenomenon appeared to have no effect on my powers, for I could still feel the guillotine inside my right arm. If anything, it had become even stronger than before. Now to imply I wasn't positively unsettled by a situation. As much as I hoped it wasn't the case, her soul might have just drifted even closer to that of an insentient tool. That'd be grave news. I had no intention of using Mari on to cast her aside when I was done with her. I wished to save her as much as I did Himuro, Honjo and Kasumi. I sure had my hands full for. Then again, if I could save people just by wishing hard enough, I wouldn't be in this situation to begin with. How many people had already died because of me? And how many had I managed to save? I had no special traits. I was no different from a snowed-nosed brat. Which was the ultimate reason not to get caught up in the depression. If I had time to lament my lack of knowledge and strength, I should use it to improve myself. Exactly. Or at least that was the plan in my mind. Wow, that actually a little bit sounded like the song of Mari's. Why the hell did this girl have to keep poking my cheek when I was desperate to rest and regain my strength as fast as possible?
Kawaii. Honto. Negao dake wa ne.
Was the camera shutter just now?
Muramura suru ne.
Uh-oh.
Suru ne.
Where this is going?
ちょっと私の口で言えないようなところが、ちゅんちゅん刺激されるっつうか。
Honjo, you do realize, Ellie, you do realize I like you the most, right?
ポーズ取らせる。
Say what?
っていうか。
Say what?
脱がそうか。よっしゃ。
よっしゃじゃねえ
Yeah, he was prepared for that. I jumped out of bed with a cry.
うっと。
Where'd that come from?
もうちょっと寝ていた方がいいと私は思うの。
俺のベルトから手離してくれたら寝ますよ。
これは気にしちゃダメ。
Tell me, she should stop poking when I try to sleep. Clutching my head, I let out a scream of frustration. Good grief.
少しは復活した？
Honjo seemed to have trouble containing her smile, so I merely replied with a silent note in an attempt to express my discontent.
どれくらい寝てた？
ざーっと12時間。今は夜の10時だね。
So did you have enough time for all that? Well, that should have done it. I didn't exactly feel like I was in top shape, but we had no time to idle around. After seizing Humor's hand, still trying desperately to undo my belt, I glanced around the room.
Yo, お目覚めか?
You are around? This asshole was right here in the same room and didn't even so much as lift a finger to help preserve my dignity? Last time I checked, Honjo was his woman, right? Kind of.
だいぶご活躍だったみたいだな、ヒーロー。
そうでもねえよ。
I could neither defeat my single opponent nor achieve my initial goal in the end. Kicking ass was hardly fitting phrase to describe what transpired back there.
でも、収穫はあったんだろ？
そりゃ、本庄の手柄でな。
We couldn't rescue Kasumi, but at least managed to get our hands on rare Himura instead. And I was willing to bet she had a useful secret or two to share with us about those psychos.
OK。俺も今戻ったとこだしよ。お前も寝起きで頭回らねえだろうから。まずは飯でも食って落ち着こうや。
わかった。
Now was not the time to just sit on our hands, but I didn't want to rush things either. I said to go along with his idea for now.
じゃあテレジア先輩、 あたしらレディースは炊事係なんで。私、料理できないよ。
I had no idea what this girl was thinking. After everything went right recently, it shouldn't take her long to adapt to the solution and start chatting with us as usual.
それから、その名前で呼ばないで。
Perhaps that prior assessment of mine was mistaken. She must have been trying her best in her own way, more or less.
じゃあ俺が作ろうか。
あんた味覚ぶっ壊れてるじゃない。
The children control amazed that gloomy look humor just gave us, or were they purposefully acting stupid? In any case, they seem to be well bent on easing up the tension a bit, so I chose not to say a word and instead observed them with a faint smile. But just I did that.
藤井くん、ごめんね。でも私、今、嬉しいよ。
White apology. And what was this about being happy? What exactly did she hide behind that gloomy smile of hers? I had to know. I needed her to tell me everything.
俺もまあ先輩とまた話せて嬉しいよ。
But for now, I should just appreciate the situation. Because in the not so distant future, we'd have a 3 against 1 interrogation. And I had to admit, I was looking forward to it. Besides,
結局バカスミがどうなったのかは正確なところわかんねえんだろ。
after helping ourselves to Shiro's lethal cooking, we'll first listen to what Honjo had to say.
死んじゃいないとは思うけどね。だってあの時、中庭にいなかったんでしょ。
まあ
I couldn't spot Kasumi among the people kind crushed to mincemeat, nor the ones welcome the word.
連中、死体処理は徹底してるみたいだから、今朝のことが大騒ぎになってないのはまあ良かったけど。
調べたところであいつも行方不明の一人なんだから意味ねえし、助かったもんの中に正気だったやつがいたなら話は別だけどよ。
ダメだろうね。みんな確実に無遊病してたから。パジャマの子とかいたもん。
そりゃ分かってる。
The main question was why they decided to single out Kasumi compared to the other sacrifices and what our reasons were for believing her to still be alive. It all came down to a single fact that Honjo told us.
いらないってそいつは確かにそう言ったんだな。
そう。もうなんかすっごい嫌な感じのやつ。
Seemed like not even the usually upbeat and chipper Honjo could talk about the person without a frown. You think she was looking at a host of deadly bacteria or slugs?
これくらいの背が低い男の子でね。見た目は中坊くらいの子供だよ。金髪で右目に眼帯。これがさ、ニコニコ笑ってるんだけど、中身は煮えくり返ってるわけ。怒ってるとかそういうんじゃなくて、嬉しいとか悲しいとか、とにかくごちゃごちゃのカオス。
Simply madness.
はりゃダメだわ。頭からつま先まで別の生き物だよ。コミュニケーションなんか取れないし、例えて言うならがん細胞。
Nice.
へえ。
Nice comparison. Honjo's disgust didn't seem to be hurting Shiro, who seemed to make a fascinated smile. And then
知り合いかい先輩。
he bared his fangs at him with no hesitation whatsoever.
いらないっていうことは代わりにいる相手を確保できたからって風にも取れるよな。
Yeah, that was part of the reason why we still thought Kasumi was alive.
あいつと先輩の立場が入れ替わったということかい。あんたは連中に用なし扱いされたから今ここにいて、その代わりに霞のやつがなっちゃんのお姫様になっちゃったと。
おい
I fronted his tactlessness, but humor didn't seem to even react. She simply,
ウォルフガング・シュライバー。そのがん細胞みたいな人のこと。名前だけは知ってるよ。
それじゃあ
as I cautiously let those words slip, my tongue had become clearly stained with despair. Actually, no, I think I googled the guy before, right? Well, never mind. So she was acquainted with them. Not like it came as a surprise at this point, but it still hit me hard when she confirmed it like that.
ねえ、藤井君。私は何を話せばいいのかな。
Everything?
知らないこともいっぱいあるし、知ってることも、最近まで信じてなかったことばかりだし。
No worries. We will believe those.
私はあまり役に立たないと思うけど。
Yeah, well, tell us everything.
そりゃこっちが決めるよ、先輩。とりあえず、その狼少年が言ったことと、俺らの予想は先輩的にどうなわけ？
それは。
Hibura broke our gaze and cast her eyes down for a few seconds before once again raising her face to steal a few glances at us.
ねえ、藤井君。ユサ君でもいいけど、綾瀬さんって、日本人。
は？
何それ？
おじいさんか、おばあさんか。つまり、クォーターじゃないのかってこと？うん。それもドイツの人じゃない？
なんでそんなこと？
おじいちゃんかおばあちゃんが兄弟で、親がいとこだから、はとこかな。私と綾瀬さんがそうだったら、そうかもって思ったから。え？
嘘。
Where the hell did that come from?
はとこ？
That flat-faced, totally common-looking Kasumi was a... Okay, flat-faced, not... Somehow my mind went with flat-chested for some reason, I don't know. That would be not a correct thing, but flat-faced, okay. Totally common-looking Kasumi was a quarter foreigner and related to Himura dead, but she couldn't even speak English, much less another foreign language.
うわ、今すっげえ不気味な系譜が頭に浮かんできた。
多分どっかでチワワの血でも入ったんだよ。
The two sure were pulling in punches to a person who wasn't even a person, but I couldn't exactly disagree either.
先輩、さすがにそれはちょっと無理ありすぎっていうか。
でも、そうとしか考えられないんだもん。どうなの？
どうなのって言われても。
I exchanged a glance with Shiro.
あいつの親父はガキの時に落ちんでるけど、ハーフって面じゃなかったな、多分。
あ
あ。おふくろさんもそんな風には見えねえけど、まあ聞いたわけじゃないから、外見だけで判断はちょっとね。ついでに言うと、じいさんばあさんが家に遊びに来たなんてこともない。だろ？
ああ、知る限りない。
俺もこいつもあんまり血とか家とかに執着しないたちなんでね。特に気にしちゃいなかったけど、普通に考えりゃちょっとおかしな家ではあったかもな。
そういや、盆や正月に誰も来ないし、行くこともなかったな。
そう。つまり、結構謎な家系なわけね。先輩は自分のじいさん兄弟っていうか、親戚筋のことを知らなかったの？いないって聞いてた。
じゃあ。
まあ待てよ。
Shiro cut me short, as if trying to savor the moment of things finally getting more interesting for him.
一地域丸ごと同じ名字だらけとかいう偏僻クソ田舎ならまだしもよ。普通は鳩子領域まで行ったら面識なんかないのは当たり前だろ。
私は結構知ってるけどな。
お前んちは特別だ。レン、お前だって知らねえだろ？
そりゃ、まあ。
No shit, Sherlock. I didn't even know the names of my parents. I highly doubted I was any less regular than Honjo when it came to family matters.
だいたい、仮に霞と先輩が親戚だったとして、それが何の？
血だろ？要するに。
ああ、優生学ってやつね。
Honjo clapped her hands and proceeded to plunge into her explanation before giving Kimura, who had since fallen silent, a brief glance.
つまりね、ブランド米あるじゃん。あれと一緒。
I'd really appreciate if she could elaborate a little.
要は品種改良だよ。競馬だ、競馬。
Why couldn't these idiots just use people in their examples?
親父が理系でおかんが文系の天才なら子供は完璧超人ってことで。
ついでにジジイが格闘家でババアが日舞の師匠ならもはや隙はねえ。
そんな簡単なものじゃないと思うけど。
So in short,
サラブレッドってことか。
そういうこと。
Kasumi, a thoroughbred.
今藤井君これがって思った。
いや、思ってないっすよ。
I almost did fall.
つまるところ、先輩はなっちゃんに都合がいいように掛け合わされた血筋の人で、かすみもその枝だったとしたら連中にさらわれてもおかしくないっていうことな。
本当の優生学っていうのは悪性遺伝子の淘汰が目的なんだけどね。例えば眼科系で早死にの一族を救うためだったり。
See, you can learn something from the games as well.
チビ家系とかデブ家系とかハゲ家系とかを直したりな。
お前はもう黙れ。
Our conversation was rapidly entering the territory of pure bad taste. Not like the very concept was particularly tasteful either way. The breeding of humans, as well as the artificial selection of a master race. Even if the goal was to create able sportsmen or scientists, using the word breeding in the context of humans left a bad taste in my mouth. Why would I ask? But whatever. It's natural words. Whatever. But yeah, well, it's not a good thing. Like, pre-arrangement marriages of olden times were already a pretty disgusting concept. I agree with that. I agree, but this went a step beyond. It felt like a sacrilege against our very own nature. I mean, the words don't leave bad taste in me. Doing such stuff does. In other words, Himura.
いいよ別に。子供じゃないしね。お父さんとかおじいちゃんとかそのまた上の人がどういう事情で結婚したとしても、まあ愛ある結婚云々はともかく望まれた子供ではあるわけだしね。
I just wish they wanted her for something less hilarious. Himura wasn't the worst student in the school, but she was no genius, and I've never seen anyone worse at sports than her. Besides, it wasn't like she had some sort of innate talent for painting or music either, so as far as I knew. For I knew painfully well that those weren't the kind of talents those psychos were looking for in her. Could it be that Kasumi's dormant blood was to blame for what happened to her? I felt like I was pulling one conjecture up another over here, but it made more sense than that way. It must have still been part coincidence at least. After all, we ended up moving to this town due to sheer chance. But in that case... Where's the two... Okay, whatever, the voice. Were the two of you born yesterday? That was the question he asked. So whether if I might have already seen through that much at the time. Now that I thought about it, he did keep shifting the flow of conversation towards my origins, and his questions were never without pitfalls. Spina pretended to kidnap Kasumi, and it was most likely divine vessel that ordered him to do so. Maybe that action had another meaning I missed. Well, I guess these two had already known about Kasumi by that time. Otherwise, Fat Rifa wouldn't have possibly had the time to think of a way to switch her with Himura. If all they wanted was to incite my anger, they could have killed Kasumi then and there. The reason they didn't was because they had another use for her. But then, why didn't the bastard just keep Kasumi with him? Was there some special reason why he allowed her to stay around me?
どうしたのレン君。黙り込んで。
いや、ちょっと。
I felt like the answer was at my fingertips. There had to be a proper reason why he let Kasumi go then, but not now. There was likely someone in the ranks of the Obsidian Technique he wanted to conceal Kasumi's presence from. However, assuming that person was somehow out of the picture, he'd be able to take more drastic measures. The pieces of the puzzle seemed to have all fit together. This was all speculation on my part, but my intuition had been telling me I was right. The grandparents of second cousins were siblings, which also meant they would share the same great-grandparents. And considering all those in the ranks who had recently passed away, Sister is almost likely her and Kasumi's.
まあ俺もお前と同感だよ。
Shiro faced the puzzle, girls with a smirk.
一体 どういう。
いや別に。ただ先輩、もう一回聞くけどよ。あんたは霞みたいなハトコがいるかもしれないってことを知らなかった。
うん。
ついでに、じいさんばあさん、そのまた上のご先祖様は顔も名前もわからない。
うん。
In other words, she wouldn't know anything about her great grandmother either.
なるほど。こりゃガチだわ、レン。
As I attempt to prevent my feelings of guilt from showing my face, Shiro made me the derisive smile of an aloof mathematician after solving a hopelessly most curious equation.
ああ、そっか。そういうことね。
You too. Apparently Conjure caught on as well. And now that all three of us were on the same page, we had only one question left to ask. One I really didn't feel like asking, and was probably better off not knowing the answer to, but we still had to set things straight no matter what. We had to know how humorous and likely Kasumi's bloodline was significant in relation to what was going on in the city right now. We needed to know about the ultimate goal of the obsidian table.
何を言ってるのかよくわからないけど。でもその様子なら少なくともユサ君は気づいてるよね。
Her features betrayed a hint of resignation mixing with genuine relief, as if a heavy load had just been lifted off her chest. Her faint smile was beautiful in its fragility but also hollow and imbued with the illusion of transparency. It felt as if her face melted into the scenery.
私を殺せば丸く収まるかもしれないよ。
The words quietly left her lips.
言ったように私はそれほど詳しいわけじゃないけど。
We could very well solve all problems by simply killing her right here and now. My mind froze, refusing to comprehend those words. There was no way we could kill her. Hell, if Shiro tried anything now, I'd beat the shit out of him until he forgot who he was. Why was that even an option? It should have made no sense.
なんとなくわかるの。8つ揃うと手遅れになっちゃう。その時私がいたらいけない。
じゃあ、つまり。
With half my mind completely frozen from shock, the other half continued to analyze the situation with astounding certainty to the point it made me sick. I had finally understood what her role was, even without knowing all the details. It was.
この町自体がでっかい装置で、それが完成するとあんた自身が生贄になって、
To bring back Reinhardt, at the cost of thousands upon thousands of souls. This whole town was like one colossal Achnenerbe, its 8 points inscribing a giant swastika upon the face of the earth. Still, according to her, we could stop it all by simply killing her. But there was no way we could ever do such a...
ニグレド、アルベド、ルベド。
Honjo blurted out something that sounded like an occult chant.
錬金術の超必殺技的なアイテムの錬成過程でね。国家、白化、石化ってのがあるんだよ。私が見たあの坊やはアルベド。
Could the man that faced me back in the yard have been Nigredo?
ついでにハーケンクロイツもその3色。
Haken what? What the hell is Hakenkreuz? I mean... God damn it, let's Google it. Hakenkreuz. Okay, you could just say swastika, damn it!
学派によってまちまちだけど、他にも黄色と緑がプラスされる説もあったり。それで5式合わせて黄金を生む。そう考えた場合、この説で金色が与えてくれる恩恵って言えば。
ああ、それ知ってるぜ。有名だよな。死んだ人間を生き返らせたり、生きた人間を不老不死にしたりする。つまり連中の目的はそれなわけだ。
Gold was a symbol of invincibility. Its transmutation was merely a metaphor for the conjuration of immortality. People didn't try to deny it. With her silence, she confirmed we were on the right track.
くだらねえな。散々デタラメやっといて、要は自分が死にたくねえっていうだけかよ。
Or because they wish to resurrect someone already dead. They dropped the entire town of life just so they could breathe it back into someone who had perished, or used it to extend their own lifespan. That explained why they were collecting insane amounts of souls. Overturning the natural order of life and death wasn't as simple as exchanging one living soul for a dead one, like eggs or bread. You'd have to kill tens of thousands to bring back just one. Those cases might look ridiculous at first glance, but in truth, they reflected the nature of us humans far better than any fair exchange would. The sheer egoism of not caring how many unrelated people died just to save the one you loved. The value of a human life changed drastically depending on the perspective. An obvious and thus correct concept, a case of their alchemy weighed not only on the corporeal, but also the emotion behind the deed. As such, they were entirely precise and just. It pained me to admit, but I understood it all too well. I'd never contemplate becoming immortal or reviving the dead, but I too would do anything in my power to save those I held dear, those still living. I had enough of an ego to admit the veracity of those scales myself. After all, I cared more about Kasumi herself than all the people she ended up killing. In the case, now was not the time for little thoughts. If what Himura said was true, then letting the eighth swastika open would mean.
先輩も、いや、今は霞か。とにかくあいつも行っちまうんだろ?
That made sense. Himura was at the center of all this death and destruction, with she herself as sacrifice. Her life was definitely in danger, which was probably why Father Trifa decided to liberate from the troll.
どうもあの神父さん、先輩にだけはマジで甘いらしいな。
優先順位か。
I ended up blurting that out without even realizing it. If both of your parents had to die, which one would you save? The one you felt was more important to you, naturally. And in this case, Himura appeared to have been far more important to him than Kasumi, a girl he likely didn't even care about.
けどそういうことなら、8つ開き切るまでは鉄壁に守られるってことだろ? 逆に身の安全は保証されたわけだ。それに俺は、もともと正義の味方的理由で働いてるわけでもねえし。
He turned to Himura.
あんたを殺して収めようとか、特に考えちゃいないよ。あと俺は、丸く収めるっていうのが嫌いでね。ともかく、必要なことは分かったし、続きはレンと話してりゃいいさ。
だね。
Shrugging Honjo followed after him.
それに、理屈と過程はどうであっても、先輩は死なずに済みそうなわけなんでしょ? だったらそんなポーカーフェイスしてないで、少しは喜べばいいんだよ。別にあんたが悪いわけじゃないんだしね。でも、
The fact that Kasumi was taking her stead placed a weight on her soul, and even when she herself was still in danger, she never really seemed to show much concern for her own fate. As I found myself drifting from one gloomy thought to the next, Honjo made a wolfish grin before whispering something to Himura's ear. I couldn't quite make it out that well, but she seemed to be recounting the line I said to Himura back at the school. She was even doing an impression of my voice. Why did she go all red now?
あれで少しは気が変わったんじゃない？うん。じゃあよかった。少しは前向きにね。
Honjo left the room with a hearty guffaw. Not that it mattered, but she was terrible at doing impressions. Also, why was she so obsessed with my line away? All I did was voice my honest feelings. How was that supposed to be strange?
ごめんね。
いや、
Not knowing how to react, I simply patted her on the head. I did it half out of relief, but it helped me finally realize something. She was warm. Alive! And so while there were still many things I would have liked to know about, we already learned enough from her tonight. Just as Shiro said, and I decided not to torment her with painful memories any further. It didn't really matter from what point in time did she know about those psychos, nor did it matter how much she knew.
先輩に謝られるのは、なんか新鮮だよな。
藤井くん、年下なんだから頭触らないで。
Yeah. She was my friend, and that would never change, and I felt and was blind to feel anything negative towards her. Who cared if she happened to have been embroiled in the insane plans of a few lunatics? Well, Triva, the divine vessel. Whatever his goal, I would celebrate the fact that his actions saved one of my friends from danger. Now all I had to do was rescue Kasumi. I was blind to forget the countless dead I failed to save, but I also couldn't allow past regrets to cloud my judgment and risk the lives of those still alive. Afterwards, we proceeded to have a meaningless and light-hearted conversation about nothing in particular. I didn't tell her what I thought about Sister Lisa, nor did she tell me a thing about her death. It was an attempt to escape reality. We just need a few smiles to carry us through tough times, to keep us facing forward.
でも藤井君は誰にでも好きって言うよね。
So I wish she could let that one go already.
短く、タチ悪い。もっと語彙を増やしてほしい。
No thanks. No, I could. Yeah, I know I could.
誰にでも嫌い嫌いって言ってる人もそういえばいるし。似てるよね、君たち。頑固でツンデレなところとか。
And after uttering those words, tinted by expression and Chinese resentment, he more slowly drifted to the sleep.
しかし、垂直落下だな、この人も。
Yeah, I wish it was possible for me as well. In any case, I should leave her to the dreams. I had some other business to take care of tonight. Don't imply it was a payback cover before, but I stopped to take a few pictures of Cameron's sleeping base before leaving. Yeah. I stuffed the phone back into my pocket and waved the security camera, through which I was sure Honjo had been observing me. Interpreting her lack of response as an okay sign, I left the premises.
よう、意外に早かったな。
Yo, we'll see each other in the next episode actually, and then we will go strolling around the city looking for someone, I guess. We'll see. But I hope you enjoyed it, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.